uninterrupted. And there's plenty of rich people or people who make wealthy who live a wealthy lifestyle,
High divorce
but
rate.
it, yeah, but a lonely. You know what I'm saying? I would rather have the love of my life first, and then hopefully, and then you just hope that the other two come. But you can't. That type of connection with somebody can't be replaced. Money can't replace that. Yeah. Welcome back to the Still in the Mud podcast. I am your host and sole proprietor, Big Al Jameson. And today's topic is something that we think everybody can relate to. So we're gonna find out what's going on. What's harder in 2026? Is it harder to find love? Is it harder to make money, or is it harder to keep you to protect your peace? We at least deal with one of these every day, but so so we're gonna talk about it. But first, let me introduce our panel for the day. Coming in from the MIA on vacation, man, coming in on his birthday weekend. Happy belated birthday, young man. My man
Appreciate you, big
Dub,
club.
what it is.
Not much,
And we
man.
got we got the queen to be, Sean T. What it is, baby.
What it is,
We got the Grand Poobah, the elder statesman, Mr. Omega Supreme, coming in from the DMV. D Nice, what it is, young man.
Doing all right, sir. Doing all right, because I'm holding it down from the DMV.
All right, all right. We gonna talk about it a little bit. How everybody feeling, man? Everybody good?
oh, all good, man.
Pretty good.
All right, so so let's go on and get into it. What is harder to find for y'all? Anybody can speak up.
Man, protecting your peace is harder than anything. It's definitely because you got to make sure that you got the right energy around you at all times. If you get that wrong energy, man, it can mess up a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's protecting the peace.
For sure.
I would, yeah, I would have to agree with Sean. It is, because I think the other two feed into protecting your peace.
Yep.
If you're trying to find love and you're going through things with your significant or boo of the month or something like that, that can add to your peace. Because there are people out there who love drama. There are people out. I'm not one of them, but trust and believe there are people out there who are magnets for random acts of drama. Also, making money. I'm telling you, it can destroy your peace too. So, I think protecting your peace is major.
Dub, what you think?
Uh, Based off like mental health, I think protecting your peace is key. I think it's definitely important. I think it's like to Sean and Darius' point. I definitely think that leads everything else. But I think holistically and like realistically, like people say protect your peace, but that usually doesn't. I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but it should start with within. But usually it doesn't. Right? Protecting your peace starts from whether it's you getting financially stable or you finding that loved one who teaches you new things about yourself that you might not have known that you needed to find your peace. So I think there's not to be wordplay here. I think there's different pieces to finding your peace, and I think those other two could be a part of your peace, though. So like you might not find peace until you're stable, or somebody might not find peace until they find a loved one. Am I saying that's right? No, but it's different strokes for different folks. So who are we to judge that? So to me, Like protecting your peace is, of course, key, but I think protecting your peace, like financial stability and finding a loved one or loving somebody or learning to love somebody can be a part of your peace. So they kind of go hand in hand for me. I don't know. That might be a hot take.
I
Well,
think I think I think you're right though. I think you're right though, because if you look at it, you've got protecting you've got protecting your peace down here. You've got making your money, finding that love of your life. So you can look at it as these two pour into that bowl at the bottom. Because you can necessarily say, if you win the Powerball, then you've got no money issues. But what does that bring? So now we've made money, but let's say, for instance, you don't have somebody to live with, or now you got to figure out, does this person want to be with me or be with me for my money? It there's it's I think it's intertwined, is what I'm saying. So I agree with you there.
I'm with you. Big Al, talk to us. I mean, you threw it out there, but what
I mean, let's unpack it a little bit. Like when you say protecting your peace, does that does that also extend to family? You think? Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because I always say, one of my sayings I always say is, everybody you related to ain't family.
That's what I say. I say family is who you make. You know what I mean? It's not always the one you grew up with.
It definitely is, and I think that if it comes a point in time where you have to cut people, cut relatives off because of, for whatever toxic behavior, the way you're treated, any one of those things can be a good segment to keeping your peace. But the question is, what point do you get to, or what will it take for you to have to feel like you have to protect your peace? Like, at what point do you feel like you have to cut somebody off?
See, that's up to the person because each one of us know when enough is enough. You got to get to that breaking point to say, I'm not gonna keep doing this repetition stuff with the same person or multiple people with the same issue. It all depends on the person. Some people can be like, all right, I know this person doing this to me, but at the end of the day, I like their energy. You know what I'm saying? But you got to sit down and you got to reevaluate yourself and say, enough is enough, man. I'm not moving forward. This person is an anchor on my ship. If I'm going to continue to let this toxicity from whoever it is, family member, friends, or whatever, on my ship, and I can't sell, then what's the point of keeping them around? Because you're not going to learn nothing new. You're stagnant.
That is true. And sometimes you keep them around for nostalgia reasons. They always been there. So,
Yeah.
but a lot of times you got to think to yourself, sometimes you got to sit still. Stuff be going on
Mm-hmm.
in your life, and you just be like, oh my God, this is going on. I feel anxious. I feel this. I feel that. Here's what I want you to do. Here's what I've done for me. I've sat still and for whatever that is. For me, it's sitting still in a dark room, nothing on, and just sitting there and giving myself 5 minutes of just silence, and then saying, what's going on in my life? And the first thing that comes to your mind is the first thing you have to deal with. Um, I grew up in what I thought was a close knit family, close knit Caribbean family, and come to find out that all it takes is one decision that they don't agree with to now put them at odds with you. And then you start to look and see, and you'll realize there are people in your life right now, guys, who are magnets for random acts of drama. They'll just drama
Absolutely.
just right, drama just come, drama on 495, drama on 695, drama on Route 66. It's just coming to you. and you can't think straight with all that drama. So I had to put people on what my wife calls radio silence. Radio silence can be a few minutes. I've had people on radio silence for at least a decade because I don't need the aggravation in my life.
So
People
that
change.
that brings me to a good point. And somebody in the Tip Harris in the comment said, basically, mental health is on a rise lately, right?
Yep.
So if people's mental are not stable, how do you find peace? And in my opinion, Tip, I would say straight up, like uh, one, God is guidance of everything, right? So one is to pray about it, but two is also find you a community that can help you or that you feel safe with, so y'all can work through that together. Because regardless, uh, if there's a rise of anything, right, that doesn't mean we can just uh, suppress and literally just say, "Oh, it's because I'm mentally, not right that I can't be better." That's not true. That's an excuse. It's a way out, in my opinion. Um, Also, in the comments, Isha Four says some people are in your life for a blessing, lesson, reason, and season. Some for a lifetime, and some seasonal. I agree with that wholeheartedly. So I think going back to the word peace, people are going to play a piece in certain seasons of your life, and some of them are a part of the bigger piece, right? A bigger piece to the puzzle. But some of them are only part of this side of the puzzle. So I think you got to piece that together as well. No play on words
No,
right there.
I definitely agree with that because some people that you might have a good connection with, like they say, might be only there for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's something that this person was put in your life for, and once you get to that point and realize whether it's good or bad, then that person may not be there after a while.
Yeah, and if yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And if you can think in your mind, hey, I don't have anybody who brings drama to my life, then it's you. Then it's you. There is always somebody who's bringing a certain amount of drama to one's life. And if you can honestly sit there and say, oh, there's nobody bringing drama to my life, then it's one of two things. Either you have the peace that you need, or you're the magnet. So you have to, there's a lot of honest conversation you need to have with yourself, number one, and with those in your life, number two. Um, you know, you, I can't, I can't take on everything you got going on, and then everything this one got going on, and then everything this one got going on, and say that I'm at peace. You just can't. It's not possible.
I think for me, the the activation of protecting my peace comes into play when your BS or your drama is affecting my life. When I'm beginning to be affected, when my livelihood starting to be affected, that's when I go into protection mode and I have to back away or distance myself for a minute. It may not be forever, but it may be just until the time period because being able to protect your peace and still try to be there for that person or help them can be two different things. But it can be tough to do because the lines can get blurred. Sometimes people pull you into their BS unintentionally, but because you care so much and you are that you instinctually involve yourself in probably some things that you shouldn't be involved in. Sometimes you have to recognize when a person just needs an ear or they just need some advice, and that's as far as it go. I don't think we need to stop overstepping. Which gonna get into the next subject that I'm talking about is setting boundaries. Like, do you guys feel like that you know who you have to set boundaries for in the beginning, or does something have to happen before you start setting boundaries? Sean T, what you think?
If you know the person for a long time, then you know the boundaries that you need to set for that person. But if it's somebody new that you're just meeting and you hanging around a little bit, you got to kind of get to know them a little bit more. And then if something actually happened, then you be like, all right, you know what? I gotta set this certain boundaries. I can't bring this person around this group of friends, or I can bring them around this group of friends. It's like there's a lot of different boundaries, and it depends on the knowledge of of a person. If it's somebody that always chaotic, man, at the end of the day, you like, man, I'm never gonna go out in public with this person. We gonna sit at the house and chill. That way, I know it's a calmer environment, and then if something pop off, it's not making me look like a fool out here in these streets.
I was gonna say to that point, like, uh, where does the boundary happen? I think naturally with like the people that are in my life and around me, certain morals just we don't even have to talk about, right? So if I get word that you moving some type of way, or like, and when I say morals, I'm talking about like SA, or if they scrape, y'all with me, scrape, right? If you break those type of morals, we have nothing to talk about. We don't even play like that, right? So that's not even a boundary, that ain't if we even get word like you're cut, I don't have nothing to say. We don't got nothing to talk about. You can't explain nothing to me. Like, you're a weirdo, and I don't move that way, respectfully, right? But um, I think it depends on like you said, I think it depends on the scenario for sure. Especially if my people are running into some hard times, life happens, right? But be a part of a community, sometimes you might need a helping hand, right? It all goes back to like, how do you go about that though? Right? If it comes off like it's a guaranteed and I'm supposed to just do this for you, I got a problem, because now it seems like you're taking advantage of me. But if it's like, hey, I genuinely listen, this is what I need. This is what I have going on. Can you help me? I could do that, because at the end of the day, vulnerability. I mean, that's a part of being a good family member, a good friend, a good brother. You got to have that relationship. So for me, yeah, I definitely think it depends on the scenario. But now I will say this: you only get one time though. I give you some love one time. After that, I'm sliding. That's just me.
Well, what I run into is, um, there have been people around you all your life. Let's say there's people around you all your life, and y'all have been good all your life. Now, all of a sudden, somebody new comes in your life, and now there's whatever reason that triggers them. So now you're getting a whole bunch of negativity from those individuals. How much room, how much leeway are you giving that person who's been in your life?
Total transparency. If I'm in a season where I'm growing, developing, working on next steps, and I guess to Big Al's point, this is now hindering what I want to do. You don't have too much leeway. You get the leeway is just if you're a brand new person. Because at the end of the day, we should be constantly growing and evolving as individuals. Regardless if I've known you for 20 years. If you stay in the same pattern that you was, when we was 15, 16, little boys, we grown men now. I can't move with you that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't help me in my next steps and where I want to go. Especially if I got, shout out to some of my line brothers, some of my friends, they're genuine, they're married. That's a next step for me. So I can't align myself with, people who not moving or thinking that. And that's just an example I'm giving. But yeah, it don't matter how long I've known you. If we're both not developing and working towards each other, and that's okay. Like, people outgrow each other. That's fine. But when you get to a point, it's a problem for me, because it's affecting my life. Like, you got to go. Got to go.
I think a lot of that. I think boundaries are set for a reason, because it's to protect your inner peace. It's it's part of protecting your clarity and making sure that everything is running smooth into your life. For me, boundaries are set. Boundaries are set a lot of. I said a couple of episodes ago that I was a character guy. So some people in my life have a little bit more leeway on certain things than others. It really just it can be situational depending on what's going on. But I do think boundaries are necessary just for everybody to a degree. Like, there are certain parts of me, whether it be my livelihood, how I see things, or just whatever. There are certain parts of me nobody's ever going to get. Like, I don't think nobody should ever get 100% of you, mentally, emotionally, or whatever, outside of your spouse. I think that at some point in time, like Sean said, when you have friends, you got to be able to filter your friends and filter who what personalities match and things like that. Like, there are certain friends, and Sean is a part of our friend group. We call ourselves the Wolf Pack. Shout out to the Wolf Pack. Love y'all. There are certain friends that I have outside of the Wolf Pack that I know I couldn't bring around the Wolf Pack because the way that we roll and the way that we do things, I don't, I knew it wouldn't, personality wise, it wouldn't mesh. It would be some unnecessary drama because I've had friends that I brought around. They see how we get down with the Wolf Pack, and all of a sudden they want to be part of the Wolf Pack, and I'm like, nah, this ain't gonna be a good mix long term. We had fun for the day, but long term, nah, it ain't gonna be a good mix. So I think boundaries are always important. I think it's important for your mental health. I think it's important for your clarities, and you have to be aware of yourself and of the boundaries that you know you need for certain people. Also, respect other people's boundaries. If somebody has a boundary on you and you know it and you talk about it and it's clear, respect those boundaries. You know what I'm saying? You have some, and I think some people overstep boundaries without knowing it because we don't let them know about the boundaries that are in place. Then there are certain things that's just like general respect. So understand that some people gonna have boundaries with you as well, and we have always got to keep that in mind. But one of the things I want to transition over is the making money part. Like, I think with inflation, the cost of living, it seems like everything is going up. Gas prices are creeping back down slowly, but it's just ridiculous. I remember back in the day when gas used to be $1.10. We was like, God damn, gas is high. Now we sitting here wishing we would see $1.10 for gas. So one of the questions that I have is, like do you feel like having a side hustle is necessary, or is one income enough to take care of a household these days? Like, what y'all think?
I think that depends on, truthfully, the income. I don't want to check nobody's pockets, but I'm just being totally transparent. Like, with the inflation and prices and the job market, a lot of different variables there. Can one income, it can, depending on how much you make. I mean, let's be real, and how you want to live. And you can live under your means. Let's say hypothetically, somebody's making, 350 to 500,000. You live under your means, a nice, nice regular home, nothing extravagant. You're not in the Beverly Hills with it. I think you'll suffice. Yes, I think you could. Now, there's a side hustle. I'm always gonna be an advocate for, like, get your money, man. Like, why not? It don't hurt nothing. It don't hurt nothing. If anything, it's helping you get to your next step, whether that's with your spouse, whatever that may be. If you looking for assets, property, whatever, side hustle. That I don't think I can salute somebody that's willing to grind. That's why we still in the mud. We all grinding to get out. So having a side hustle is a beautiful thing. I don't see no knock to it. Shoot, like I said, it's, hey, get your money, man. Somewhere around there.
I think that I don't think anybody, at least anybody I have talked to, past, present, would say, you know what, that's I'm making too much money. Okay, it it don't happen. It just don't happen. I think multiple streams of income are always a plus because one never knows when a stream of income may be cut or may be reduced. You never know. So, that's always something to have and to think about it. If you're grinding in one location, all of a sudden that location no longer exists, what you doing? Then that's the thing. We all have responsibilities out here. We all have things that we have to do, things that we want to do. So multiple streams of income, I think, are it may not be necessary to all, but I would never be like, I don't want it. I don't want it. As long as it's something that I can do, and maybe it's not definitely not definitely as long as it's ethically sound, it's always something to look into.
Um, I agree with side hustles, man. I've been a grinder ever since I've been working. Honestly, right now I'm grinding now. My little side hustle now. I cut my neighbor's grass, man. At the end of the day, um, cause the way the economy is now, man, you got people that's been working for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You got people have to retire early because of politics and things of that nature. So it's always good to have something, at least, you know, what we as black people fail to do is learn about saving, having a safety net, because you never know what's going to happen. If you can grind, go to school, get your own business, that way you ain't got to work for nobody but yourself. But treat your people equally that you got grinding with you in the mud, and you had that extra money, you gotta worry about that. Cause man, you got furloughs over here, you got furloughs over there, you got people that's been working in places having to have to leave early, retire early, and they're not gonna get their 100%. Like, man, it's a lot going on, but it's comfortable with a two household income. That way, nobody's being pressured. It's an equal opportunity. You know what I mean? And you come together, you compromise, you talk about the finances that needs to get talked about, you get it done, and then you got money to still do what you need to do. You got money to still need what you do. But hey, look, I got this little side hustle, shorty. So at the end of the day, if something pop off, man, we ain't got to worry about that. We got it covered. You know?
You brought up a great point. If I could touch on it, Big Al, real quick. You brought up a point where you were saying like uh, uh, people being with jobs 20, 30 years. So, on this panel, obviously I'm the baby boy, right? And so we're gonna keep it honest. Like the mentality that I watched you all's generation have when it came to jobs, my generation doesn't feel that way at all. Unfortunately, because we've seen somebody do 20 to 30 years and then not get their pension. We've seen somebody be forced into retirement and don't get their full benefits. Like I've seen them. Like I know personal people, personal stories. And so people are like, well, your generation, we just jump around. We jump around because we seen what that did to y'all staying in one spot. Going back to Darius' point, I mean, two different scenarios, but same moral. Like I watched you grind for 30 years to come out and literally not have nothing. You put that hard work pain in for what? And then now I gotta look up and be like, oh well, I should build a 401k. Or I need to be with this company for no, I don't, because they don't care about us. And when I say us, I mean people in general. Like they don't care about the workforce as a whole. Everything is about a revenue. So going back to that like whole point, I rather jump around, man. Like if we got multiple hustles, let's get it to the point where we got enough hustles that we can have passive income and we don't gotta clock in for nobody, then let's do that. Let's wake up and clock in from the house, from our own
Most
business. And I,
most definitely. My only thing with what's going on today, I agree with you, Doug. I don't think you need to be at a company any longer, because I've also seen situations where loyalty does not pay monetarily. My situation is, if you're in something, have a work ethic. If you go to work, go to work. One of the rules of manhood, a grown man gets up and goes to work every day. Now, you may not have a job, so going to work for you means going out and trying to get a job, or going out and trying to get a side hustle, or getting two or three side hustles. But what you will do is get up and go, not sit at home sucking up oxygen and not having the wherewithal to get out there and make some money. But you want somebody to support you. That's not going to that will never work well for me.
no, I salute that. I think I've seen uh, that's one thing I can't say you all's generation definitely built. And if you was around the right old heads, the right OGs, I've always seen my folk grind. Like I always seen Big Al grind. Derek, I done heard stories about you grind. Sean, same thing. I know you've been a hustler, right? That's one thing I can say. If you was around the right old heads of generation, the one thing of instilling work ethic in you, like you gotta go. Even when it came to sports. Like we haven't really got into that. But Big Al, if y'all don't know, Big Al used to be a bucket back in his day. My man was cold, right? He was a hooper. I played baseball, so when I was coming up, I used to be on a grind. Hey, we gotta go get this work. We gotta go to the cage. That is instilled based off y'all's generation. So I do thank y'all's generation for that. Cause now, like I get up, I'll go. It don't matter if I'm out partying today. If I had to go to work tomorrow at 6 a.m., I'm in there because it's a work ethic. But that's thanks to the older generation and the older community. That's all I got.
The problem with like our generation growing up is that the work ethic was instilled, but in today's society, like I said, there's no loyalty no more. It feels like companies are using you for what they can get out of you, and when it's time, and a lot of them are feels like it's trying to force you out before it's really time for you to go. I think long gone are the days where people are gonna be on jobs for 20, 30 years. If you do a good 10 years, you know, you'll be lucky. I think that I think that one of the and I agree with a black billionaire. He just put in the chat that there are some two-whole households that still living paycheck to paycheck.
Mm.
So it's like having a side hustle is almost a must now, or having multiple streams of income is almost a must because you can still make enough to pay your bills, but then after that, what then? And what good is that to pay your bills? What good is that to pay all your bills just to end up still not doing anything or just living life? What's the quality of life is what we're really striving for. But it's a domino effect also because then some of us are chasing the dollar at the cost of happiness. And the question that I have is it really worth it? You know what I'm saying?
In all reality, no. I mean, to survive in this day and age that we call, in the world, yeah, you got to go get your money, right? But when you get down to the morals and things of that nature, I mean, no, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. The heartaches, the stress, the tension that you're having from work, and let's be real, a lot of us or some of us, do a job we don't really love. We're doing it because I have to. I'm doing it because I gotta eat, or my wife gotta eat, or my husband gotta eat, or my kids gotta eat. Right? It's not because I love it. No, I love the person I'm doing it for. So in that case, yes, it's worth it because I'm doing it for somebody else that is going back to manhood that I'm responsible for, right? Or that I have a a um a place or a responsibility in their life. It's only worth it when it's honestly for somebody else. We all ain't out here doing our favorite jobs in the world. I guarantee you, and this is just off the top, if you do a survey of the entire general workforce in the United States and say how many of you are doing uh, something that you love, like that is a passion naturally of yours, I would say it's less than 20%. So yeah.
Here's a good question for you. Here's a good question for you to think about. Then, would you rather make? Would you rather have a job making $150,000 a year that you hate, or would you rather make $75,000 a year for a job that is the
I don't know,
Well,
man, because at the
honestly,
end of the day, you gotta think about it like this: regardless of how much money you make, you they still taking taxes. So you're not getting exactly what you really want or what you need to keep your head above water. Well, at least not your head, because if you're making money, living paycheck to paycheck, you can pay your bills, you still can do a little something, your head is above water. But most of us would like to have enough money to at least have our waistline above water. And that's living comfortably.
Well, I always say I ain't got to be a millionaire. I settle for 1,000. Let me be a
I,
thousandaire. I'll be.
yeah, I totally agree. And it gets to a point where it's almost like like a hamster on a wheel. We're trying to get the money, but if we don't have the money, then we can't do this. If we can't do that, then we can't do this. If we can't do it's cyclical. Um, you just have to know where it's time for you to get off the wheel. Um, yeah, I want to be able to support my family. I want to be able to have my side hustle. I want to be able to have my peace. I think that you strive for all three of those on a daily basis. And I think that it's hard when you see one thing not coming through, but the others are. Sometimes you have to make a hard decision, and that basically depends on the individual. Like, okay, I'm making this money. I'm making the money I need to not only support my household, but free up my wife, free up my kids so they can go to school or whatever they want to do. But I don't like the job.
Let me ask you another question on top of that. Then, how much of it do y'all think is um, living above your means? How much of it is a lack of financial system that you
All
have?
right.
I feel like there is a thin line. Some of us do live paycheck to paycheck because we are living above our means. So what do you think the line is drawn at? How much of it do you think is that as opposed to just not having?
Inflation.
Yeah,
Okay. So I'm gonna be real. I think you hit on two. I mean, I think you answered your question with your question. Truthfully, I think one, you have people who live above their means, right? And that line is based off. Really, that's gonna change person to person because somebody who's making 200K and somebody who's making 60K, like the line based off the inflation of the world by itself is gonna give the differentiator of living above your means, right? I think some people live above their means just because they live above their means because they don't have a budget or understanding, right? But then I also think the truth is, based off inflation, bro, it's not easy to live today's day and age. Like you really got to have some money awareness. That is almost a skill set now. I don't think because you can make so much amount of money, but if you don't know how to save it, if you just blowing it, you can still be paycheck to paycheck. So the money part don't matter. It's about the mindset. So living above your means is obviously the toxic mindset to me. Like you're obviously doing too much. You didn't save up. You didn't budget right. You didn't break this down and analyze how you can move and still be, like you said, above water. Like Sean said earlier, like my weight's still above water. That's living above your means. But I also think inflation plays a huge role in that. Like, well, what can we do? I'm down here in Miami. Gas is $4.56. I said, oh my God. Oh my goodness. Who wants a car? If you don't give me a moped, what we doing? So I'm just saying, because of the inflation, man. That inflation crazy. I can't do it. I can't do it.
And I'll be honest with you. Sometimes we are at the gas station, as Cat Williams say, making life decisions. I need gas to go, but I could go by and hang out with this, or I could just go. No, I was at the pump a couple of months ago. Gas was $5 for regular. For regular. Heaven forbid you have a car that only runs on, um, you know, higher grade. And that's just gas. You got to have a plan. Financial literacy is something that's missing in this world. We have to be financially literate. We have to use a plan. Um, I was one of those dudes back in the day where if a bill all of a sudden came up, I'm paying it all. And next thing I know, I don't have the money to do nothing else. When I came into my relationship with my wife, she had a lot more financial literacy and understanding and financial maturity than I did. She taught me about a third, a third, a third. You save a third, you invest a third, and you have a third for paying your bills or and doing other things with. Now, the third doesn't work for everybody. Everybody has to sort of do the homework, do the work, and find out what works for you. But yeah, and we're not looking to be below $4 for gas, unfortunately, anytime soon, politically, if we all understand what that means. So we got to find another way. It's crazy.
Going back to your question, and I guess I'm kind of flipping it. So if inflation obviously is a key matter to whether or not somebody's living paycheck to paycheck, my question to you is a side hustle, isn't a side hustle guaranteed? Like, isn't that mandatory at that point? Because, you know, 75,000 to 100K in the 90s is like 250 to 300K today. So, I'm just picking at your brain just because you grew up. I was a baby boy. I was a kid. You actually was, what I'm saying. So yeah,
I think because of inflation, um, a side hustle can be necessary, but I think people use side hustles for other reasons other than just to live. Like to me, if I'm using a side hustle is the money that I want to spend after I'm finished paying my bills. Like after I finish paying my rent, pay the car note. That's for me. A side hustle money for me is to do stuff with. You know what I mean? Y'all know I'm a sneakerhead. I like shoes. So I want to be able to go buy my shoes when I want to go buy them. I work hard, so I feel like I need to deserve something. Um, I will want to. I with the inflation being so high the way that it is, it's almost like you got to have two side hustles. Like you have to have multiple streams of income in today's society in order for you to live a quality of life that you want to have. It's hard to we. I think the internet have fantasized. You see people living out some of our fantasies and our realities, even though some of it is fake and they lying. It still looks good, so it makes you instinctually want that. So then you you start not being financially disciplined, start making bad moves with your money, uh going out buying these $300 concert tickets knowing that you got a $800 light bill that need to be paid. Like 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 it's a domino effect, and I think it is affecting our financial discipline as a whole, especially in our society, because we're so worried about the next big thing. We live in such a microwave society that we got to have everything or experience everything. Like everybody want to travel, right? Everybody want to travel twice a month, but you don't have the money to travel twice a month. So what do? I've made this decision. I've made decisions on placating to my happiness as opposed to paying my bills. There are some bills that I've let go because I want to go do something else with this money. You understand what I'm saying? I've done that. I think a lot of people have. So having more money would be nice. The whole $150,000 a year would be great, but I think mentally I would be miserable if I was at a job that I absolutely hated, making that kind of money.
I feel like side hustles nowadays and age. I agree with you that if for whatever that extra action I want to do when there's vacation or a car or whatever, but I also do think because the inflation is so crazy, your side hustle almost got to be like another career. Truthfully, like, well, I'm big into working out in the gym. I don't feel like for me to make that actual impact that I want to make, for me to get ahead, for me to spend what I want to spend, I don't think I could go and be just like, work at one of the gyms, for 14 or $12 an hour. I don't think that's going to get me ahead. I think that's going to waste my time. Truthfully, I would have to put in so many hours to do so, even though I love working out. But I don't think that's going to get me ahead. So to me, a side hustle needs to be, where can I utilize this money, or how much money can this bring me in so I could be ahead if, going back to D Nice or Sean's point before, something crashes, or politics happen and I lose one form of income. I feel like my side hustle almost has to be a career and that puts me ahead being able to save up, let's say 8 months to a year. I think that's what a side hustle has to be nowadays.
But let's also go a little bit deeper too with it.
Okay.
Let's impact the job market itself and our government, because as inflation goes up, our pay don't go up. So we're not compensated. We're not being compensated for the inflation when it happens. You still got job. We in 2026, and even a person making $150,000 a year, which is what, a six-figure income, is regular now.
For sure.
You still living regularly. So it's it's like we're not being compensated for the inflation within itself. We're not being compensated properly just so people can live regularly. They're not even having an extravagant lifestyle. Like you said, if you're at the gas station and you got to make a business decision on whether I'm going to get this half a tank of gas or I got to turn around and buy groceries to eat. It's like, what do? You know what I'm saying? If you don't buy a tank of gas, you can't get to work to make the money so you can buy groceries. But if you don't buy groceries because you got to get gas, you're gonna starve. It can't be. You know what I'm saying?
It's a catch-22.
It is a catch-22, and we in this country together. We in this country. We of this country have to do better in terms of taking care of our own and our people in the workforce who are out here working it and getting it every day. That's why I'm not mad. I can't be so mad at the and I hate to say it like this. I can't be so mad at the dope boys out here selling dope because they're making more money. You know, some of these cats making $3,000 a day. And
Non-tax.
well, you only not taxed, and then as opposed to you going to a job making $240 a day, and then on your paycheck, you know. So it's just like,
I guess the situation that I'm running into is, I agree with you, and it doesn't really affect us like you were talking about with the dope boys and whatnot until it affects us. You know, that's when it affects us. So I think
when
that we need to.
domino effect. It's like one, you know, one tassel after another. It's always a revolving door. But until we get to a place where we're compensated appropriately, nobody's actually get rich off no job. You know, very rarely that happens. But if we can be compensated for inflation as it happens, I think balancing wise, we'll be a lot better.
Yeah, that's why I agree with that wholeheartedly. The higher class to lower class, that ratio is 10 times different than it was 20 years ago. Like we almost don't even have a middle class almost. Like, it's some people in the middle class for sure, but it was a distinct difference in your lower class to middle class to high class. Now that middle class kind of, you either on the high end of that or the low end of that. If you're on the low end, you look like the lower class because of the inflation. So to your point, the revenue within our system would balance out if we were being compensated. Because also, what are you doing when I work with human capital management, so I work in HR spaces for tech. So what are you doing when I make one of my employees or managers' jobs easier? I'm building morale, right? So that means I'm building productivity for the organization I want because my employee is happy. Right? We a lot of people aren't happy. They go to their jobs to eat because they have to eat. You gotta eat. But if you was compensated on what you deserved and the inflation based off the world, I guarantee you get a 10 times better employee, manager, whatever, based off that. So I agree with you. Like you cook your last 5-10 minutes. I just want to let you know.
I mean, it also depends.
Problem
Like, if you got a good work ethic, and for most people, man, you got one title, but you're doing 5 different jobs, and you still not getting the money for it. But they praising you. Don't just say you're doing a good job. Y'all appreciate it. Oh man, let me see something. Like, you can't even go out here and get your own apartment. One bedroom now is like $2,500.
I'm not a words of affirmation dude. Pay me. You can
Facts.
pay me. Just pay me accurately. That's all.
I
Y'all
need that physical touch.
doing a great job. I don't see it on my paycheck. I don't give a damn about none of that. Pay me.
Right.
Hey, that
No,
reminded me of Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac said, "What you want me to tell you? You doing a good job. Keep up the good work."
you know, that's like a saying back in the day. Ain't a damn thing funny. You got to have a con in this land of milk and honey. So you better have something else on the side. You better be able to understand and whatever. Now it's great if you can monetize something you want to do, or if it's not hard to do, or if you don't mind doing. But at the same time, we are being politically pushed out of the United States of America. As a result, it starts economically.
So going back to that point, my bad, big guy. I was going real quick. So there earlier, you said peace was finding your peace is more important than financials, but now you're saying that financial piece is so what we doing? Did your direction change now? Talk to me.
No, direction didn't change because again, you worried. What I also said was it's almost intertwined because you can't make the money and sacrifice having somebody in their life. You can, but you're not going to be happy with it. You can't say, okay, I'm at peace, I'm at a job I like, um, but I don't have this. So it's a three-piece puzzle. It's a three-piece puzzle. I still
I
think
just wanted to pick at you. That's all.
no. Hey, pick at me all you want, sir. I'm good. I'm good, sir. But we know that making the money, like I said, if you win the Powerball, $380 million. Let's just put that figure out there, and let's say they take 40% taxes, and you get a lump sum of the rest. Anybody in here going to tell me that that amount of money is not going to make at least the monetary situations a little easier in your life? Now, makes it easier for you to be like, you know what? I don't have to deal with that dude at the job who I just don't like, who is destroying my peace, or having to go to a job where the bosses are the bosses because they had a little more money than me and started a company. You know what I'm saying? So it's all kind of tied into one. I came from a position where, number one, the bosses lucked into a contract because the person who was there prior had a problem with some financial problem again. So the bosses lucked into the contract. Now, are they capable of doing what they're asking us to do? They weren't capable of showing us and telling us what they want us to do, but they want us to guess. See, that's the whole thing. It's all a cycle. It's all a piece of the same pie.
Well, at the end of, well, then in closing, let me ask y'all this question. If you could have one of these three for the rest of your life, which would it be? True love,
Mm.
unlimited money, or complete peace of mind forever? Which three? One of the
So let me just so I'm clear because I overthink.
three. And you can only pick one.
So if I get like hypothetically, if I choose full complete peace, I never found my true love and I never am financially stable. Is that correct?
Correct.
Ooh, I'm gonna take a sip. Y'all go ahead.
Come on now, don't
I'm,
all speak.
I'm no. I'm gonna. Whoo! I never thought. Never thought. Never thought. Never thought. Never thought. Here we go. I'm gonna go with find the love of my life because I may never find the financial security that I'm looking for, but if that love of my life can keep me going, I'm I'm better off than I was prior.
All right. So coming from an emotional man standpoint, for our viewers who don't know, I'll be vulnerable with y'all for this last few minutes. I'm an emotional male. Ooh, the hard part about answering this question is total transparency. Is this when you, because we're still in the mud, but when you come from like a family that grind, heartaches, pains, just want to make it out. Being financially stable is like one of those things where like you just like, man, we never had it, but now we want it or we getting there, you know. But as a lover boy that I am, I would rather, I would rather find to be able to say I found the love of my life because now I get to share experiences and things with somebody, and then to just have all the money in the world. Because also, like, if you read your book, greed is one of the seven deadliest sins. So I feel like people who allow money to make them move, you're not walking in the lights of how God would like you to. So I'm gonna take my lover because He created Adam and Eve for us to do so. So yeah, I'm gonna go with true love too.
Ooh, Lord, it's tough, huh? I should have went took me a shot like Dub, huh? Man, I mean, because at the end of the day, how many true love have anybody of you had? Some possibly said they already had one. Some people say they're still looking for it. But no one wants to be alone. Somebody wants to have somebody to share things with, grow with, build your foundation and continue to build, you know? But sometimes people just want their peace, their sanity. And, it's hard.
Sean, so where you at? You sound like you fishing. It sound like you
Hey,
fishing.
I threw that rod out there, man, all night. I don't know. Peace, man.
Well,
Wait,
Honestly,
if a genie,
I think I'm going for my peace.
okay.
Because at the end of the day, man, I look at it like this. If I can't love myself, how can I love someone else? It starts there.
true.
And once me physically, mentally, emotionally, I'm at a state in my life where I don't let the bullshit upset me. I just want to be happy, have fun, make memories. If my mind is there, then if I find someone, I find someone, and then we can grow. We gonna find out how to make this money, and we gonna have some land out there somewhere with mules and goats and sheep and chickens and things. At the end of the day, So I'm gonna go with my piece, and then we gonna figure this. We gonna figure everything out, everything else together.
Big Alex on you,
And
big
that's
dog.
how I feel.
If you really look at it realistically, right? If you choose the money, it can help with your financial burdens, but it can't really bring you peace of mind because more money, more problems. It brings a different kind of stress to you, right? So your peace of mind is interrupted. And there's plenty of rich people or people who have a wealthy lifestyle,
High divorce
lonely,
rate.
yeah, but are lonely. You know what I'm saying? I would rather have the love of my life first, and then you just hope that the other two come. But you can't. That type of connection with somebody can't be replaced. Money can't replace that. And if money is your value, money is your value. Everybody ain't got to agree with that. But at the end of the day, if you have the money, you still you're compromising your peace of mind, and you can still end up lonely. And I would rather share my life with somebody and hope to acquire the other two than the latter. That's just my thing. But
And
we're gonna wrap it up for today.
mhm.
We appreciate everybody tuning in. We love that y'all here. Great conversation, guys. Follow us on all social platforms. Still in the Mud. Also, if you are enjoying the content and you want to help us grow, we are taking donations on the Cash App. It's the $ Still in the Mud. All proceeds, whether big or small, nothing's too big, nothing's too little. It all goes to help us grow. We're trying to grow this platform and continue to bring y'all the content that y'all like to hear, man. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll see y'all on the next one.
Blessings.